Hello, guys. My name is Ivor Holland. This is United States history. The first permanent settlement was in Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. It was established by the English colonies. Also, later down the road, Puritans sailed the Mayflower and they formed the Plymouth colony. And the reason they came to America because they was seeking out religious freedom. And between all this time, from Virginia, I think, all the way to Maine, they created what we call is New England. After that, while they was coming in, settling down, there was a 7-year war. This lasted between 1756 and 1763. They fought over Northern American territories between French and Indian. There was also other wars being fought between Africa and India and Asia over trade routes and disputes. To gain territories from Florida and Canada, they created a Treaty of Paris uh, that was signed by certain delegates. While this was going on, England gained a lot of debt in an attempt to solve tax colonies, and this resulted in the American Revolt Revolution. This revolt was from the 13 colonies to gain independence from British. The main cause was post-Seven War tension and taxes and British ruling. The British policies, like having soldiers in houses, caused an uproar between the colonies. The Business Tea Party was also a protest against British taxation without representation. They believe that somebody overseas, like King George III, he could not tax what they have going on in the Western country. In April 19th, 1775, this resulted in a battle of Lexington and Concord that was heard all over. It was the first shot that was heard all over the world. And July 4th, in 1776, they declared independence from Great Britain after King George had passed away. But after that, there were still wars and everything was still going on. So they had to form Articles of Confederation. This was the first constitution of the United States. It was adopted during the Revolutionary War, and power was granted to the Congress to declare war and pass other treaties. The weaknesses of this was that there was no regulation of commerce and no enforcement power in the states. And also the strength of it was it passed land ordinance and borders from Canada and Western territories. There was also anti-federalist and federalist people that believed that the Articles of Confederation wasn't strong enough. So they ratified the Constitution and created the Articles and created the Article of Confederation. Oh wait, I'm sorry. They created the Constitution. This convention was held in Philadelphia, and they ratified the Articles of Confederation in 1787. And what we know now, the first 10 amendments of that are called the Bill of Rights. This was formed up of a group of anti-federalists that fear excessive central power, loss of state sovereignty, and lack of protection for individual rights, and Federalists favored a stronger national government. The Louisiana Purchase. The United States brought approximately 8,200,000 square miles from France for $15 million. This almost doubled the size of the United States after the Civil War. President Thomas Jefferson wanted to control Mississippi River and the port of New Orleans for American farmers' trade and navigation rights. In 1802, 1803, Spain temporarily controlling New Orleans suspended American deposit rights and high intentions. This was caused them to want to get their own ports and everything to continue trading and building commerce. James Addison sent James Monroe to join Minister Robert Livingston in Paris to negotiate the new purchase of New Orleans and parts of West Florida for up to $10 million. This purchase was signed on April 30th, 1803. After the purchase was made, an expedition was made. Lewis and Clark went out on an exploration that was sponsored by the U.S. government and went to go to the Western Territories following the Louisiana Purchase. The goal was to find a practical water route, Northwest Passage to the Pacific Ocean for commerce. Also, to map the territory and study plants, animal, and geography. They traveled up the Missouri River through present-day Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And then they wintered with Mandan and Hidatsa tribes in North Dakota. They also, after the Louisiana Purchase, they didn't allow slaves into the Western world. This was called the Missouri Compromise. It was a major U.S. congressional agreement that temporarily resolved a bitter debate over the expansion of slavery into new territories acquired from the Louisiana Purchase. It applied for statehood with constitution allowing slavery. This threatened the existing balance of 11 free and 11 slave states in the Senate. Slavery was prohibited in the rest of the Louisiana Purchase territory north of the 36 and 30 parallel border, except for Missouri itself. This created a geographic line dividing future territories. The Indiana Removal Act was a landmark U.S. law signed by President Andrew Jackson on May 28, 1830. It authorized the forced relocation of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands in the Southeast Territories west of the Mississippi River. States like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi sought to remove Native tribes to gain control of their lands and assert state sovereignty. Jackson views a former military leader who fought against tribes view removal as a way to protect Native Americans from extinction by relocating them into open for white settlement. This caused the Trail of Tears. From 1838 to 1839, the most infamous forced removal was the Cherokee Nation. Thousands died from disease, starvation, and exposures during the march. Estimated suggest 44,000 Cherokee deaths. After this all happened, there was a western expansion. The nations grew from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific, driven by the ideology of manifest destiny, the belief that Americans were destined by God to expand across the continent. Growing eastern population and European immigration pushed settlements westward. Texas annexation and Mexican War added vast southwest territories, including California and New Mexico. Also, Oregon Trail and Oregon Treaty created vast territory settled from Britain. And that's it.